Here we go. We are live on Facebook. All right. Now let me get up my page. So let's start with how are we surviving self-isolation? Sheltering in place. Sheltering in place is the most politically correct or nice term, right?
This challenge, yeah, it's a whole new world in terms of how do we meet people virtually? How do we keep ourselves mentally healthy? And same for our children. So it's a new world, but I guess we're all figuring it out.
I am wearing makeup more than I ever have.
Really?
Because I'm doing video calls every day, as opposed to where I would have some days where it was like, I'm not going anywhere, I'm staying at home, I'm doing my accounting. Now it's like, I don't have a reason to say, no, I can't meet with you, kind of a thing. So I don't know. But everything's good. And I actually enjoy just staying at home. So I'm not stir crazy, but that's just my personality that I happen to be blessed that way. So
Well, Naomi has the littles. How's it going?
The challenge is an understatement of the year. It's challenging. They're a lot. It's tough on them. They're very active. They're in sports. They have a lot of friends. We do a lot of play dates. We have a lot of neighborhood friends. So this 6 feet apart is very confusing to a 5 and 7-year-olds who are used to playing soccer and basketball every single day with their friends outside in the cul-de-sac. So that has been a huge, and we don't have a fenced in backyard. So kind of keeping the kids apart has been probably our biggest challenge in adding school and work. But we are making it through. Every day is a new challenge. We are thankful for spring break and no virtual learning.
Yes.
So things are not bad.
And I'm seeing that several of our East Cobb ladies have jumped on the live. So thank you. Welcome to all of you. Be thinking about what kind of questions that you might have for partnering, or if you've got tips from you've had successful partnerships, then we want you to chime in. But let's start by introducing, for those that might be watching the video recording afterwards and don't know you guys. Naomi, tell us who you are and what you do.
Okay. My name is Naomi Lumpkin. I am a partner at Clark, Lowry & Lumpkin, which is a domestic law firm. We are an all-female firm, which I'm super proud of, but we do anything domestic. So if you think divorces, custodies, adoption, which is my happy place, custody modifications, legitimations, anything like that, you have an issue that has to do with your family, that's something that I can help.
Okay. So I'm going to type this in the notes too. And Jennifer, tell us what you do.
Yes, financial advisor with Thrivent Financial. And what we'll talk about today is helping people through divorce, helping women through divorce. But I also help very happily married people with their financials as well.
Okay, very good. So tell us how you came about partnering. What you do is you provide, it's once a month, correct?
Right.
Once a month, you have an event called Second Saturday where you both, with a divorce coach and a real estate agent, hold a workshop where you help women who are either contemplating divorce, facing a divorce, in the middle of a divorce, give them advice for what kind of things they need to be doing, how they can manage through the process, what kind of things they need to be thinking about. So tell us how that partnership came about.
Well, we actually met through the wonderful Melinda at the Thursday lunch, ladies lunch group. So Naomi and I connected and said, let's go to coffee and see where there's some potential just for us to get to know each other better, and also see if we could be working together, and had coffee and got along really well. And that's how it all began. And that was last spring.
Awesome.
So Jennifer had already had Second Saturdays set up. So Second Saturdays, for people who don't know about it, is a national organization. And okay. Jennifer had started the first Georgia chapter, which is basically a free seminar that helps women who have this team of people who helps women going through divorce, as Melinda said. So she had already had that set up and was looking for an attorney to be a good fit. And after we went to lunch and realized that our personalities were similar and there are people we could refer back and forth to each other, we decided to team up.
So you guys had a little bit of a leg up on maybe somebody that's never partnered. There was a structure or an idea already in place that you could say, okay, well, this is how other people are doing it. So let's find the, the professions that kind of other people are using to put together the workshops. Are there any professions that other people have on their second Saturdays that you guys are looking for a spot? Is there anybody else that a divorced woman needs that you don't have a person representing?
We haven't really talked about expanding the team per se, because we love the foursome that we have, and getting four ladies on the same page is a great thing. But there certainly are others doing this around the country who have expanded teams. So one thing that does come up is property and casualty insurance. So who's going to cover these teenagers who drive? Who's going to cover the expense? Who's going to keep them on their insurance? Who's going to keep them on health insurance? So some people do have a member of the team that joins them for that. Others may have CPAs, because obviously there can be various tax implications of this. So it truly just depends on what that local team wants it to look like. So yeah, that could be, it could be great for us to continue building out our network of people to refer to.
Okay, awesome. All right. Well, I know we have prepared a slide together when we did our test run yesterday, so we're going to give some topics to think about, some tips for people who would like to partner with other people. But let's go over real quick. The reason this whole thing came to mind is because I was posting an inspirational quote that says, "Nobody cares what you have to say until they know how much you care." And that's so applicable in social media. You can't just go out in social media and say, "Hey, I've got the best thing since sliced bread." Nobody cares because they don't know who you are. And there's so much volume out there of information and data and posts on social media. So you really have to spend time cultivating relationships on social media and demonstrating first that you care. This goes along with the BNI philosophy of giver's gain, which many of you know. I was a marketing director for BNI for a number of years. So it's always about giving first. And I know that you guys are doing that. You're giving. The workshops are free, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're giving first to say, let us help you. And then there's some people that's all they need. They go on and they don't need additional services. But then there's some people that are going to come back to you, and because they've met you, they know you, you have credibility, then they're going to say, okay, we're going to Naomi, as our attorney for our situation. They're going to come back to you. And we were talking also, Jennifer, yesterday about the fact that they may not need your services all at the same time. So you're partnering with these four ladies, but they may need you at different stages of their process, depending on where they are. So Jennifer might be somebody that comes in after the fact, after a settlement has been reached, to say, okay, now what do I do with this? So there are women that, because you've given first, are going to become your clients. Can you share with us maybe just you've been doing it for almost a year now.
Mm-hmm.
This has helped your businesses grow? Yes. You feel like this is worthwhile?
Yes.
Okay.
Divorce is an interesting topic in terms of there's not a really direct correlation between we offered this particular workshop and then within a couple of weeks we're all doing lots of business. It can be a lengthy process, and certainly, as you mentioned, it's with Second Saturday we are meeting people who may still be in that contemplation stage, and so they may actually want to work with a divorce coach first, just to figure out, am I thinking about this the right way? Like maybe I really ought to just be investing more in my marriage. Should I actually be getting a divorce or not? And so they may work with her first, and then depending on how that goes, they may not need other services, or that may be when they say, no, this really is time to call Naomi. And then different attorneys Naomi does a lot of her own financial work, but different attorneys are involved in different levels in financials. So sometimes they look at me as the person to handle that piece of it and say, I don't want to get involved in the settlement process. So you figure that out and I'll focus on the legal aspects of it. And then it could be during the process or after when they reach out to our realtor to say, yeah, it's really time to sell the home. That's our biggest asset, and that's how we're going to help fund this divorce and our future lives. So you're right. I mean, it can be a very lengthy process in terms of when they use the resources of each of us.
Right. Okay. So the point that I want to bring out for our audience today is that it's a long-term process. And you may not even, you might partner with somebody and you may not be having monthly workshops. Partnerships and how you serve your clients may take on different shapes depending on your profession and the mix of businesses, but just stick with it. But don't do it once or twice and then give up and say it didn't work, because you're developing long-term relationships. And one of the good things about social media and about you providing these workshops is people get to know you, right? And you never know how long it's going to take for that relationship to develop and turn into actually a business relationship.
Melinda, I also think you have to do something that's authentic for you. I think that we all like to give back, and it's a part of my practice. I do pro bono through Cobb Legal Aid. But a lot of this is, I do get clients from this and I've had success and I track it. But the reason I do this is I think that's part of my job, is to give something back. And there's so much information that they can get there that they can't get in an hour consultation with me, or probably one with Jennifer. They can get so much information. It's not just hire me as your lawyer. It's the process from start to finish. It's things you aren't thinking about with the financial. It's things you're not thinking about emotionally. And so I think you have to actually be really passionate about what you're doing. And I so great of these 4 ladies I partner with. I believe in them, and I think that we've done a great job of all really caring about what these women are going through. So I don't think you just start a seminar, a partnership because you want to make money. You need to do something that's authentic to you and something that you're passionate about.
Those are great points. Those are great points. And that's actually a good segue. I'm going to share, and I keep looking to this side because I have another monitor and I'm checking for messages. So I am going to pull up our slide here about our points. There we go. Okay. So tips for partnering. If you're contemplating, how can I grow my business? I want to give back. Like Naomi said, I think most of us want to help others. And especially in this season where we're all going through difficulty, I love the heartwarming stories that we're seeing of people, joining together and sewing those masks and making those, our East Cobb Robotics is 3D printing shields, and that's so cool. But beyond this current crisis, just coming together to help provide resources for your clients or your prospective clients. So one of the first things you want to think about is sharing a customer. You can partner with people who serve different customers, but it really makes more sense and you have more power if you're centered around a shared customer. And specifically, you guys are focused on the niche of a woman who's facing divorce. So if you can narrow down a particular problem scenario and look at this person in this situation, what kind of resources do they need? This business that we're serving, what other resources do they need? Then that's a good thing. And then you've already touched on this a little bit, but consider personality styles. Do one of you guys want to elaborate on that, what that means?
Naomi, go for it.
So I think who you're partnering with is important, that you guys kind of all share the same values and that you guys kind of all mesh well together. But I think when you're selling your services, I think that's something that I always talk about when I'm going through the seminar, is that there are thousands of divorce attorneys in Georgia, and I'm not the right fit for every single person. There's plenty of clients. Like I say, I'm not going to fight over the pots and pans. That's like my number one thing I tell everyone in a consultation, but you might want to. You might want to spend thousands of dollars fighting over the pots and pans and the goldfish. And so I may not be the attorney for you. Our personalities might not match, because I'm going to fight for you and I'm going to go to court for you, but I'm not going to fight over the little things. And I think Jennifer kind of has that same kind of mentality where she's there to help, but we're not just there to fight. And if you want to fight, you may need a different type of financial advisor, or you need a different type of divorce coach. If you just want to hear what you want to hear, Leslie's probably not a good fit for you, because she's going to tell you the hard truths and tell you things that like you need to change about yourself and learn about yourself and some of the hard realities of going through a divorce. And so we really kind of talk about those personality styles and who we are as people and individuals and how we can help you. and how that may not be a good fit for you because it might not be something you're looking for.
Right. Awesome. So this is a thought about how do you find who to partner with? Who do you currently introduce people to? For my example is I'm building a website for someone and he asked me if I knew videographers. And I said, yes, I do. And I gave him 2 names of people that I know. One of them I've worked with them, one of them that I haven't, but have good reputations, you know, close connections in my network. They turned out to not be good fits for him. He shared with me, this is why I didn't go with them, but I did find somebody who met my budget and I really had a good connection with them and a shared vision. And I was like, great. Once you get that completed video and you're sure that you like that, you know, the result of working with them, please introduce me, because then that gives me another resource for my clients. So thinking of it from that point of view, who are your currently related resources that you can introduce people to? Or who are they saying, this is what I need? And you're like, I'm sorry, I don't know anybody that does that. Then go look for those people and ask for that feedback. I was so grateful. I was going to ask him, but he volunteered it. Ask for the feedback. Once you make an introduction and they work with somebody or decide not to, get that feedback, because that helps you understand those referral partners and resources and helps you make better referrals to make sure that it's a good fit. So social media is a great place to find new referral partners, especially now. Post out there, I'm looking for XYZ person that I can send referrals to. Who do you know? Who have you used? Who do you trust? And then go to coffee with them or have a virtual coffee now in order to help build your network of resources for your clients. Because if you can become a trusted resource, not just a vendor, and maybe for people, I started to say maybe they won't become your client, but you can still help them. And then they will in turn introduce you to somebody who becomes your client. I guess that's what I'm trying to say there.
Absolutely. It's all about expanding that network. When you become that valuable resource because you're the person who knows people, right? If it's, I'm going to call Mel because I'm sure she knows somebody who is in this area and I don't, or let me ask Naomi about a different area of the law and who she would refer me to. That's huge, because then you are that resource for whatever topics come up. You can connect them to someone and be more helpful to your entire network.
Right. Okay. And then one of the areas that you guys shared with me yesterday, a challenge to make sure you are addressing, is to be clear up front about shared expenses. If there's expenses for an event like this workshop you're putting on, make sure that you have it. And I don't know, Naomi, as an attorney, you want to be clear about this and have it in writing, I'm guessing.
Yes, I think you want to have it in writing. You just need to understand what costs are associated with partnering together. So I think with Second Saturdays, the costs are pretty minimal, but there are costs associated with putting it on that we split, but people may not know that. So I think that you need to go into whatever if you're putting on an event, are you buying cupcakes? Are you buying pizza? Are you buying the space? Even if you're using a co-sharing space, does it cost $50? Well, who's going to pay the cost for that room? And I think having those conversations up front when you're first talking about partnering and saying, okay, well, if we do any event, I'll pay 50% up to X, or my budget is this. I think just having a clear expectations doesn't get people's feelings hurt on the back end if one party's taking on the brunt of the cost and the other party's not contributing.
Right.
Yeah, and that can be for one time or the ongoing. I mean, is there some kind of licensing fee, and who's doing food? And if there's any kind of paid advertising, will different people take that on? So yeah, just always good to say, hey, here's what we understand as the universe of expenses, and how will we share those? And then depending on whether you're in similar industries or not, should we share revenue?
Right. And the other side of that is the revenue sharing, if it's applicable. I think for you guys, it's not so applicable because they're just going to come to whoever they need. But I know that my best friend who's a real estate agent, she will share a booth cost for an event, and then they split the leads up, or I don't know exactly what, agreement they have, but that's something that definitely needs to be addressed up front so that everybody's clear on the understanding if there's any kind of revenue sharing agreement.
Or if you're charging for an event, how are you going to get the money back? We don't, but I think some people could charge an entrance fee. Are you going to split that 2 ways, 4 ways? How many people are in it? Are you going to split it? How much, a percentage of how much each person put in? I just think if you have a clear understanding about money, then there's not so much fighting on the back end.
Right. That's a good point. That's a good point. Okay. Well, thank you for joining me today. From our ladies that are with us live, do you have any questions or comments, something that you found successful in partnering? I know that Liz Bola is on the call with us, live video with us, and she's partnering with 2 other ladies in her team for Connect, and they're going on as the 3 amigas and sharing information about what they do. So I don't know if you have comments or tips. They've just started that, Liz, about that's a little bit different scenario because you all 3 are on the same team. Any questions you want to put in the comments box? No? All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. Thank you so much to Jennifer and Naomi for sharing your experience. I'm grateful for you being part of the East Cobb Women in Business Lunch, and I appreciate you sharing what you've learned and your experience with us today. I want to remind everyone that we are going to be coming to you live tomorrow at 1:30 because Sabra Dupree has successfully gone through and completed her applications for the payroll, the PPP loan, and there's different versions, and she had to learn a lot. It was confusing, frustrating. So she's going to be coming on tomorrow to share with us what she's learned. And I have learned, I didn't think that I'm kind of independent contractor because all the ladies on my team are independent contractors. They're not payroll employees. So I didn't think that this was available to me, but I'm finding out now that I might be eligible for some assistance also. So join us tomorrow at 1:30 and bring your questions. And if you would be willing, we'd like one person maybe that has a lot of questions to come on and ask Sabra so that she can help you with your specific questions. If you'd like to volunteer to come on Zoom with us on Facebook Live and ask your questions to Sabra, please let me know. And next week, East Cobb Women in Business Lunch is meeting on Tuesday and Thursday. Register online. It's free. But go online and save your seat, and we will be having our meeting, and we'll be talking about creating an effective elevator pitch, a 60-second pitch. So I hope that you will join us next week on either Tuesday or Thursday. I'll put the link to the website in the comments. And everybody have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mel.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.